All right, guys, what's going on? Merry ho ho, man. Merry ho ho. Christmas has been interesting, man. I've actually thought it was okay this year, to be honest with you. Got to help out my brother and his kids set up their new computer so that we can play together. Watched Rebel Moon with my mom. Had some turkey. We opened up gifts. I think everyone's happy. It's nice and peaceful, quiet. Just the kind of the way I like it. The only thing that could have made it a little bit better is if we had some people visiting or a little bit of snow on the ground. But outside of that, good Christmas, I think. And what's making it even better today, I had a mission, folks, and we may be a day behind, but I'm going to count it. I said that I wanted 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. Well, today I'm pleased to announce we have our 1,000th subscriber. We have done it, folks. We are now level 2 monetized. And after this video, after I'm done recording this video, I have to go through all my other videos now and turn on the ones that could potentially make money that don't break the guidelines. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. I like this ship. This ship's exciting. So with that being said, we're going to continue doing what we do here. There are going to be some changes, mind you, in the sense of the live content and copyrighted music, because I want those videos to be monetized as well. So going forward, the style, the intros aren't going to be as long. There's still going to be an intro, but it's going to be some NCS music, and it's going to be cut down to about 5 minutes, if that, just to show some ads and things of that nature. And I'm going to continue to do these smaller sort of pre-recorded videos, probably more now. And I'll tell you this, the topics I plan to cover are going to be a variety of topics. We're going to talk everything from what's going on in the comic book industry. People are always like, well, what about the drama? Are you still going to do drama? Maybe a little bit of it. Yeah. Drama is part of life, right? So if there's a major story going on in comic books and it is a bit of drama, we might cover it. If drama slaps me in the face, I'm probably going to cover it. But, that's really not what it's about. What it's about is the promotion of Nyobi in the end, right? Did you guys know we have a Nyobi store that you can go and click on right here in YouTube? It's great, man. And, being at that 1,000 just is a personal goal for me. It feels really good. So, with all that being said, thank you. And if you are watching this on Boxing Day, December 26th, tune in later tonight for our 1,000 subscriber celebration live stream. That is going to go down later tonight, and we'll see who's around for that. But in the meantime, the comic book industry talk, even over Christmas, never slows down. In fact, I think now that we're officially past the holiday, it's just going to ramp right back up again. Without, I don't even know if it's slowed down. But here we go. We know Vito, right? Do you guys know who Vito is? He's a comedian. He's on a show with Dick Masterson. I think it's like the worst thing in the universe, or it's called something along those lines. The biggest problem in the universe. I think that's what it is. And they're not fans of one Eric July. You know what I'm saying? And they think Eric July has a moral obligation to maybe help the other creators. And I've said this in the past. I said, that'd be great if he did, throw the dog a bone. Remember that whole speech? Of course we do. Well, we're back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to the gift that keeps on giving, Mr. Tyler Carpenter. Thank you, Tyler. You, Coffee Comics, and Eric July kind of helped build this channel, just so you know. Now, let's read the quotes. Let's see what's going on. And we'll tackle it from there. So Vito says, all artists have a moral obligation to help elevate and promote other artists. If you only care about elevating your own art, then you never truly cared about art to begin with. So here's the thing. Obligation. When you say obligation, that means different things to different people, right? It's like, and you'll see it. Mike S. Miller will comment here if we come across it's like, do you mean like a moral obligation or like a lawful obligation, or he listed off several things, right? I think what's being meant here is like, no, we're not saying that there needs to be some sort of law. Like, hey, if you share out 5 projects, you gotta, you must return the favor, and you know what I mean? Like, people are gonna share if they want to share. They're not going to share if they don't want to share. There are peoples whose projects I do not share out anymore because I notice that they weren't returning the favor. Okay? I'll give you 2 examples. Brian Pulido of Lady Death. And I know people are going to be shocked when I say that. And I don't even hate Brian. I still buy Lady Death. I just don't back the Kickstarters because A, they're kind of expensive. And B, you know, I was backing his Kickstarters and sharing them out, hoping, you know, and this is my fault, right? Hoping that the man would at least share mine out at least once out of the 100th time I shared him out. No, he couldn't be bothered. Why? And I'll tell you why. Because Brian Pulido is worried about Brian Pulido business. He don't care about Nyobi business. I have nothing to do with him. He has nothing to do with me. So therefore, why is he going to share me? Even if I shared him, right? Me sharing him only benefits him. It doesn't benefit me. Him sharing me only benefits me and doesn't benefit him because he's too big. You understand? We're not on the same level at all. So there's no mutual, and as people would like to say, transactional relationship happening there, because the transaction for him would suck, you know? And I get that. It's the same thing with the guys from Iconic Comics. And I know you guys love them, and that's great. Continue to love them. I still buy Common America, but I don't back the Kickstarters, and I don't share out their stuff. Why? Because of Doug Ernst and his attitude towards me when he said, well, I'm not going to share your stuff and I shouldn't have to, blah, blah, blah. And if you share mine, well, that's on you. Correct. It is on me, and it's on me not to do it anymore, right? Especially, and then here's the thing I would say to old Dougie, good guy Dougie with On Time Books is that we're part of the same label, Doug, Antarctic Press. And I know that doesn't mean as much to you as it means to me. But when you're with the same label, you should be sharing out AP projects. Okay? It hurts me not to share out Common America knowing you're with the same label as I am. But that's what you brought upon yourself, right? Now, you're probably going to say, well, we don't need you to share, and we didn't ask you to share. No, but it's nice when it happens, though, isn't it? It's nice when it happens. Every time someone shares out Nyobi, I appreciate it. And if I notice it happening numerous times, then I take note of that creator, and then I make it an effort on myself to share out their shit. Do I always get to everyone? No, because I think, you know, that's sort of impossible. Sometimes things do sort of slip through the cracks in the fingers, but 9 times out of 10, I get it right. Okay? So, let's see. We're going to read Tyler's stuff here in a second. I just want to read the quotes that Vito's getting, because Vito's going to get different fans than Tyler, and most of the people are probably going to agree with Vito on Vito's post, and most people are probably going to agree with Tyler on Tyler's post. But that's why I'm here, to sort of sift through it all, ladies and gentlemen. So B.A. Turner gives like the this, you know, on target emoji. Jack of Many Spades says, this idea doesn't scale at all. Every artist has an obligation to every other artist, question mark. If you said an obligation to promote a friend's or collaborator's art, that could make sense, but all artists doesn't work. Vito says, you're adding terms like every and all. I want to go back up if he actually says that. All artists have a moral obligation. So, no, he's not adding it. You got it right there in the fucking headline, dude. Sorry, I'm going to agree with this guy. And he points it right out here. So he says, all, quote unquote, artists have a moral obligation to help elevate and promote each other's artists. Come on, Vito. Did you not read what you wrote before sending it? Well, you know, some people don't. Some people just mad type, like Kermit the Frog. You know what I'm saying? All artists have an obligation to the wider world of art. All artists do not have an obligation to all other artists. So, you know, now we're just getting convoluted here, man. Just, you know, say, yeah, you know, whatever. I don't think you have an obligation, but it's due to do so. It's bad and selfish not to. Right, so now we're holding people accountable to our own moral code. So that's sort of the problem here, right? This doesn't deal with the moral evil of helping to create bad art. It simply isn't always morally good to promote others. One still has to do critical evaluation process on what they are promoting. That takes time and effort, which people don't have to expend. So don't promote bad art. That's fine. Promote good art, I guess. You know what I mean? No, I think these people are trying to find a gotcha here, you know. There's no gotcha. Don't promote bad art. Promote good art. That's right. There is no situation in which you are surrounded by only bad art. We are on the internet. There's good art everywhere you can promote. Let's see. So that was just some back and forth that, is nonsensical. Corrigan says, I have zero moral obligations. That's right. And I have zero moral obligations to ever give you a helping hand. So, tit for tat, right? Did he just say artists don't have to promote other artists and it can be harmful to do it? Someone did say that. Pretty much, it is a sore core part of artistry no matter what medium you're in. It's like, for fuck's sake, this entire reason YouTube is even a thing. Word. Speaking of obligations, just want to ask you something. Where is Superkiller? Moral obligation to work for others. Wasted memory. No one is obligated to shill garbage from anyone. Go obligate your artist to make your comic art. Your obligations are affecting my livelihood. There's no such thing as moral obligation factors. No such thing as morals. It's just all made up nonsense. Well, see, the problem is there is such thing as morals. It's just morals are subjective. My moral code might differ from your moral code, but we all have one. We all think things are right and wrong in this world, and that may differ from person to person. Sounds like communist propaganda, but okay. I don't know if that's the case. I just think, what he's saying, kind of what I said, is throw a dog a bone every now and then. But, when you say that, people think, now you're saying he has to do it. So how many times has he got to do it? And for how many people? It's not it at all. Okay, just once in a blue moon, help the guy out. So Tyler says, what is everyone's thoughts on this? I never like it when people make it sound like you have an obligation to promote others. There's obviously pros to promoting others, and there's also tons of cons that can hurt the creator. Regardless, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Well, it's social media. People are definitely going to be entitled. By the way, he says, and by the way, Tyler, Merry Christmas. You are the gift that keeps on giving. And anyone that sees this, don't think I'm picking on Tyler at all. Tyler has given me his blessings to cover him, as long as I do it in a fair and moral stance. By the way, I love promoting my friends and peers, and I've done so for the last 5 years, John. Years. I know you guys love that. But never felt obligated to do so. I've been called self-centered, selfish, etc. when I close my doors on drawn talk for guests. But still has never stopped me from promoting others. Let's go into this one a little deeper. Nerdy Girl Creates, manga indie comic review, says, it's a double-edged sword. Promoting people who are working hard and have a passion to make a great book is great. However, on the other side, you get people who don't fulfill campaigns and start wars. You don't want that negativity reflected on you either. So it's all about the PR. It's all about public relationships and how you look at how people see you on the internet. Marketing is important. Relationships even more so. Respect the grind. That's my 2 cents. Larry Bernard. IMO. A rising tide helps all boats, but you need to be smart about it. Will my audience on YouTube like this content? Will they like it when I talk about coffee, comics, and the zombie apocalypse? I can tell you that. If so, you should. Number 2, my YouTube audience might not like it, but what about my social media followers? A lot of people who also underestimate or misunderstand the value of soft promotion. It's like softcore porn. Being perceived as a bro, I'm a bro, of a beloved character can have an equal or greater long-term value to building an audience as a typical plug. Okay. So let's see what else they're saying. Vito says, it's a moral obligation. So Vito thinks we all morally should be doing this. Well, that's Vito's opinion, right? And even if I had the same opinion, it doesn't matter because, like Tyler said, it is just an opinion, right? Lots of people are going to have different opinions about many different things. And this is sort of like the other bigger problem in the world. It's like, oh my God, I say the sky's light blue. You think it's dark blue. It's time for civil war. Folks, that shit's got to stop. Any artist who doesn't help promote others is fundamentally a bad person. So Vito is now being the judge of who is good and who is bad. Thankfully, it is rare to find an artist who doesn't help promote people. Yeah, most people are pretty good with that. I would say anyway. I don't disagree with the moral obligation part. Well, you should, Tyler. I don't think anyone should have a moral obligation anymore. After that whole speech I gave last time about throwing a dog a bone, I really just learned, like, fuck it, man. We're barking up the wrong tree here. You know what I'm saying? And the only moral obligation is to myself at this point. That's my moral obligation. I will help others if they help me, but it's absolutely transactional. Let's just be honest about it. Take off the mask here. I'm just saying the way it is. Do I promote my friends? Absolutely, I love it. But am I morally obligated to do so? It gets choppy because now everyone becomes a potential transaction. Everyone is a potential transaction, whether you realize it or not, right? Whether you realize it or not. It may not be a planned transaction, okay? It may not be something you were expecting, but it happens. You bring someone on your YouTube show, a couple of weeks later, they show up on yours, you share a project, they share your project, you back a project, they back a project, you say something nice about them, they say something nice about you. You lend them $5, maybe down the road they lend you $5. Our entire life is full of potential transactional relationships, okay? Everything is a transaction, Tyler. Hell, Let's see. So I said there, yeah, everything is actually a potential transaction. Vito says it isn't a transaction because they aren't morally obligated to promote you in return. They're just morally obligated to promote someone other than themselves. Yeah, everyone's so self-centered. So when someone makes this claim, like I think Eric July should promote smaller creators. When I said that, you know what happened? Everyone thought I was referring to myself. Why isn't Eric promoting Nyobi? And I never said that. But somehow they say smaller creator equals Nyobi. That's what he must mean. No, I say you literally got to read the exact words that people are typing and go from there. Don't read in between the lines. Don't try and figure out a hidden meaning. Don't try and, spin it. You have to go by face value with what they're typing, okay? Sorry, Vito, but this take is wrong. Says Bakumon here. It is immoral to consider blindly supporting others in anything. Support people you value, support people you admire, but never support people that have not earned the support. I agree with Vito. I think you're bad at reading. I think you think my post suggests otherwise. Well, you believe the bullshit of your first post. Not shocking you follow it up with more bullshit. I understand the meaning of your words. You were quite clear. No one has a moral obligation to do anything for anyone else aside respect their property. Vito says, any artist who doesn't promote other artists is a fundamentally broken person, and their art will suffer for it. Sorry, but this could be just pure ignorance. If you can't stand on your own, you don't deserve to be propped up. I guess all the greatest artists of the past that stood on their own brilliance produced art that suffered from their greatness. Name me an artist you think received zero promotion from other artists. Thank you for proving me right by moving the bullshit pretending to be substance to a deflection about whataboutism. I mean, this is getting weird. I tip my hat to your surrender and hope someday you put effort to grow up and find it worth it. Morally, it's the right thing to do, but there is no obligation. I don't think you know what a moral obligation is, LOL. Basically, I don't force other people to follow my morals, and I think it is right or wrong. So just because I think it doesn't mean the whole community has to think that way. Vito says you're not part of a community if you aren't uplifting other members of that community. Yeah, some people, just want to leech off a community. I get it. You wouldn't be saying this if ours weren't generally in constant dire straits economically. In a normal profession, you'd be competing with others of your craft, but you're too poor to have that luxury. And you're probably a bad artist mooching off others. Look, here's the thing. If no one ever shared another Nyobi post in their life, I am confident Nyobi would be just fine. Hell, if I never shared another Nyobi post in my life, I am confident of the built-in audience in Kickstarter and the few I have managed to wrangle in, that we'd be just fine. We wouldn't be Brian Polito numbers for sure, but as long as we're in the 5 figures, then Nyobi survives. So Vito's a pretty big name to have here in the Tyler thread. You know what I'm saying? And, it's interesting, that and like me and Max had talked about this before, that it's always like sort of the same talking points. There's like, anywhere from 4 to 6 of them, and every couple of months, we sort of recycle all through them every year. Like there's 2 other things I could be talking about right now for videos, like more information on the CGC thing, Or there's this guy on Facebook that sort of irked me the wrong way, Specs. He might be, related to Stokes somehow, because they both seem to have the same attitude here. But, outside of that, I had to pick one issue to cover today because I kind of want to go to the gym a little later too. Just to sort of, get the body moving again after being really fucking lazy over Christmas. I did go on the 23rd. And then, of course, we had, the Christmas holiday. Let's see here. McDonald's doesn't promote Wendy's, says Donald DeLay. Marvel doesn't promote DC. Well, they have when they've done crossovers, so there's fallacy in that. There's no obligation to promote anyone else, their competition, but it's nice to do it. I agree that in the end, even though they have worked together and blah, 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 at the end of the day, especially now, they are a competition. Anyone who runs a comic book at the same time I am is competition. Did you know, and I'll show this to you in a minute, that I have a comic book coming out tomorrow in the LCS, right? Nyobi Birthright is going to be on shelves, and every single comic book coming out that week is my competition. If I go into the LCS and I only can get one comic book, I hope that person, whoever they may be, me or someone else, they only get one comic book, I hope they're buying Nyobi. I hope they get some pigtails in their life. You know what I'm saying? Alas, Matt says, no one is entitled to anyone's platform. I find that creators, unfortunately, are too lazy to market their work effectively, and they don't do the work to grow their audience, and they stay stuck on where they are at, never growing or exposing their work to more eyes. Sometimes, though, people just aren't a hit. Sometimes you just have shit that sucks, and no matter how much you push it or try, the fish just aren't biting. Maybe it's time to pack it up and try a different spot. Tyler, you are the gift that keeps on giving. I said, what we learned here is that there's no official rule that says one must promote others. But this is an ecosystem, and it has unofficial rules. Now, people are going to be like, well, give me the list of these unofficial rules. But that's what makes them unofficial. They sort of come and go when they're needed. That rule says there are givers and there are takers. That is absolute. This is why I don't share for takers. Some people want others to give while they sit back and take. You know what I mean? But here's the real reason why they don't share. Would you guys like, for the mask really to come off and get to the really nitty-gritty of it all? They don't share because they're afraid if they share your work, their fans might be more interested in what you do than their own shit. Right? They don't want to give away business to someone else. Right? It'd be like WWE talking about AEW on their show, and people go, oh, fuck, well, that sounds kind of cool. I'm going to go watch AEW now. Right? That's why they don't do it. And if you haven't figured that out yet, or you're too naive, or you believe that no one is that selfish, think again. You know what I mean? Think again. RC says, I don't think anyone should have the expectation of being promoted. If another creator wants to promote them, that's definitely a positive thing for them. But it should not be expected. Promotion can only help creators grow, but it's not a guarantee. Well, like I said, some people are scared that if they do promote someone else, that person might take business away from them. Rob Curl, who's dropped by the chat many times, says, in all honesty, I believe a creator should really focus on their own for a long while, especially as an independent, before wanting to promote others. I'm pretty sure these tweets have to do with Eric July, beep, and has a giant pool, and other MS are telling him to share. It's not just about Eric July. I had the same complaint against the Iconic Comic guys. They don't share people's stuff either, and I shared the hell out of them. That pissed me off. Not that I think they had an obligation to share me out. I just think they should have at least done it once or twice, considering that we're with the same publisher. But I know a lot of these guys don't care about Antarctic. They really don't. They don't care about it in the way I do. I hardly ever see a push. I hardly ever see, them talk about any other Antarctic projects other than their own. Okay, in order for Antarctic to work, we all have to be brand ambassadors. And that includes promoting stuff and creators that we might not like that are part of the brand. That's how we grow that particular brand. Follow me on that, guys. Follow me on that. Dave says, this for me is heavily depends on the size of the creator. Despite what any small creator may say, you promote other creators and hoping that one day they will return the favor. Large creators have no reason to do this, as a boost they would get from a small creator is minimal. It's nothing. Like I said, what would Brian Polito gain from sharing me? Nothing, right? What would I gain? I probably gain quite a bit from him sharing, right? I would get a piece of that, of the Brian Polito pie. Someone was back and said, oh, Brian Polito's recommending this. Maybe I'll check it out. Okay, but, he doesn't get anything. It's not like, there's a Nyobi Lady Death crossover, because I'm not big enough for him to say, I think there's money there, right? And that's what this is all about. Again, comic books is a business. Got to treat it like a business. Amazing gaming productions. And that's the other thing I'm going to be doing with my channel, by the way. Speaking of gaming, is, we've been doing gaming over the Christmas holiday. I am going to be making a separate channel for this stuff. Well, it's already made, but I'm going to be revising it, revamping it. And I'm going to be doing gaming videos, live gaming videos over there, as well as video game commentary, like, talking about what's going on in Tekken 8 or GTA 6 or what might happen next with Cyberpunk, all that good stuff. This guy says, I just talked about this. I ally myself to creators I respect. I would have their backs. It wouldn't just be a shout out. I consistently be in the bleachers cheering them on. No obligations. Shout outs do nothing. It's about strategic alliances. So this guy's getting even more deep. I think shout outs do something. I think if we share out my link, potentially someone could click on it. It's not going to be obviously an exact science. It doesn't happen all the time. But, it's not going to happen if it's not out there. That's for sure. No one's obligated to promote anything, but when someone promotes you, returning the favor is a respectable thing to do. It only costs a few seconds to give a shout out. That was my whole point, right? It's like, I'm not expecting Eric July or Brian Polito or Tim Lim or anyone else to do a 2-hour expose on me, or anyone else. But hey, if they saw a project they think could use a boost and all it takes is a simple retweet, why wouldn't you do it, right? Let's see here. Commissions open. Wolfman 9800 says, I think if people want to have their stuff promoted, they need to do it themselves first and foremost. Well, of course. Otherwise, guilting others into doing that comes off as lazy and entitled. It's not guilting anyone into doing it. It is trying to set a standard that might be universal across the board. I think is what's trying to be what's happening here. Is that, but even if you could set a standard, I don't think anyone would ever agree on the rules. You know what I mean? So it's a waste of time to try and set said standard to begin with. John Eaple. For many mature adult, there shouldn't be any obligation to buy or support any book or project you don't like for any reason. If you can and want to, go ahead and support others, but there's no obligation to. There's lots of these here. I'll be stepping into the indie comic space soon, and I don't expect anyone to promote me. It's no one's obligation to do so. I'm not entitled to it. I sing the praises of people that I like, and I do so happily. I have no obligation to blindly promote anything. Just as no one else has an obligation to promote me or my work. The sense of time in these posts is off the charts. I promote my friends because I want to, says Word of Paradise. Not out of any obligation. No one is obligated to prop up another, and certainly not morally obligated. Well, remember that when no one shares out your shit. Remember that when it's 3 years from now, right? And you're still struggling to get funded, and you're wondering why you're having a rough time, while others who are networking well, having, beneficial transactions, let's say, are getting ahead of you because you rather stick by your own code than do business. You know what I was told when I got into middle management at a call center? As soon as I stepped into my very first meeting, they told me to leave my morals at the door. My first real rule that I learned in business. It isn't an obligation and should not be viewed as such. However, the consequences of not helping others will close potential future doors. I just said that 2 seconds ago, just in a different way. So I guess, lots of people here, feel this strongly. I will promote whom I promote. There are deciding factors. If one of these screenshots is from an account who's actually trying to hurt other creators, not so certain of the creator I would want to support. No one's obligated to do anything, and I hate the notion that people try to tell you you're obligated to support or like something just because of this or that. I'll spotlight people, but I don't expect them to return the favor. I do it because I want to. Well, I mean, eventually you'll probably stop doing that, though, because eventually you're going to feel like a sucker. You know what I mean? No one's obligated to do anyone, I think they mean anything, unless you have a contract. If you beg someone to promote you and you make it bigger than the other person, they ask them for a return favor, it's kind of cold if you don't. If someone promote you without asking, it's nice but not required. Yeah, it just will stop happening, right? You know. But at that point, they think that they're so big that it doesn't matter to them, right? So that's sort of like the, you know, the big dog attitude is that, hey, I'm doing $200,000, 300 grand a campaign. I don't need you and your 200 followers. But what they don't understand is if there's like 5,000 of these people with 200 followers, well, if you multiply that all up, it adds to quite a bit now, doesn't it? There's no obligation to promote, and those who try and make it are leeches. Look, if I produce a product and someone shouted it out, I'd be grateful. But I would not seek it out, nor would I feel obligated to promote that person if I didn't care for what they were making. See, this is what we call a taker. People promote you think are worth promoting. Not everyone is entitled to the spotlight simply because they create something. We'll read two more here. Let's go with short ones, these two right here, wherever they are. Is there some sort of moral obligation to do so? No. Is it generally a good thing to do, especially for someone who's also promoted you before? Yes. I can't conceive how anyone is under any obligation of any kind to try and raise up anyone else. It's really a nice thing to do and should be appreciated, but it should not be a moral necessity. Let's read one more. Social media marketing is leveraging network effects to amplify your reach. In that sense, bank accounts owe some of their growth to a past big account and should pay it forward. Or maybe they owe it to many smaller accounts. Do you see that aspect? That said, realistically, you can't promote everyone and there's been more than a few backstabs. Well, there's that too, right? There is that. All right, I lied. One more. If I read the book and I like it, yes, I'm going to promote it. If I have a creator on my channel talking about something, by all means, promote your stuff. Morality is subjective. That's what I said. Some artists feel they should promote others, and other projects that should feeling onto others. Joke's on them because I lack connections. If Vito says to do anything, do the opposite. The keyword is should be uplift, not promote. I'm good with that. Blah, blah, blah. No one's obligated for handouts if they're trying to guilt support. So we can see what's going on here. What they mean is creators with larger audience should send views my way so I can profit off their clout. Well, you know what? With that being said, how many of these smaller creators promoted a big guy, and that big guy, you know, benefited from the success of having like 5,000 smaller creators promote their project? Sometimes it's not the size of the channel, but how many people are out there doing it. I think that's a part that people forget. But you know what? It is what it is, though. I do want to, thank everyone again for getting us to the 1,000 subscriber mark. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. And I do want to point out that Nyobi Birthright, #1, is going to be in shops tomorrow. I know my shop is a day late because of the Christmas holiday. The new books are probably not going to be on the shelf tomorrow, but if they are, I'll go over and get it. And if not, I'll go over Thursday and pick it up. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm just trying to find the picture here so I can show it to you. Just give me one sec. So you guys know, when you're out and about tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, whenever it is, when the next time you're at the shop, hopefully it's sooner than later, that you go ahead and you pick up your copy of Nyobi Birthright #1. Not only does it support me, of course, it supports Antarctic Press, which is a small publishing company, and we want to support those, right? But we also want to support the local comic book shop, okay? So that's what we want to do. When you buy from the LCS, not only are you supporting, the creators and stuff who are behind making these cool things, but you support, and I'm boomering out here, but you support a local business just trying to get by selling these products. We talked about Glenn O'Leary. We talked about Mark Miller in the past on this channel. We talked about the importance of the survival of the LCS. So things like this, where you see right there, can keep happening, that we can keep making comics. So even if you are not a fan of the big two anymore, and I can understand it, there are still other things that you can buy that would help keep these shops and these people and us all in business. With that being said, I thank you very much for bringing us to 1,000 subscribers. we just continue on now. The road to 2,000 is strong, my friends. Let's see if we can make another 1,000 in a year. Let's see what we can do by 2025. I'm going to be revamping this channel over the next little while. The changes will come in slow, but they'll happen. Videos are going to be monetized. You're going to see ads on my videos now where you're not used to seeing them. So either watch the ads and give me some shekels or get your ad blockers ready. However you want to do it, man. But we'll see you soon. Peace.